Even
Does my mic work? Oh yeah, it works.
What's good? My brother was good.
Oh no, morning. Trying to get all this going here. Mic check. Yeah. No.
Yep.
Okay.
Well,
How's the weekend, Rob, so far?
good, yeah. Just dropped off my car to get an oil change. Wish I could do it myself, but
It's too cold, bro.
yeah, it's cold too. Yeah. Place I used to go, they're not open Saturdays anymore, but I found a new place. Get good reviews and yeah, they're nice people. Oh.
What kind of car you got, Rob? A Corvette?
No, it's actually
GT 500?
friend at work's got a Chevelle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Super sport.
Yeah, my
Nah.
car. When my wife and I saved gas, it was a hybrid. This 2011, but CT 200 Lexus.
Okay, nice.
Prius, the deluxe Prius.
So with the gas prices right now, that's what you need.
Yeah, and a F-150, older one. That's like 2006, but It's not, not too many miles.
Well, I don't even want to talk about miles. I had well, I got an accurate MDX now, but I had a 2019 Mustang GT, brand new, 45 miles. And
Sweet.
before I crashed it, it had almost 100,000 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I drive a lot. I drive a lot. So yeah, it's the new one. I just got it not too long ago. I already put 30,000 miles.
Hey, I don't
And
drive.
and July, August, September, November, December, in about 5 months. 30,000 miles in about 5 months.
Yeah, that is a lot. Yeah, I'm not like, I guess, a lazy driver. Bus, more than like 20 miles away. I said there's plenty of work where we are. Convinced them. And if I go on long trips, like 6 hours, then I'll have to pull over and rest. I actually fell asleep at the wheel twice, but I was able to like wake up when the other car probably slammed their horn. And when I went off the highway, my buddy, two of us in a pickup truck. The other time luckily it was right near the exit. So I think when I fell asleep and
I've had a couple.
going into the exit, and then
Wow.
the kind of woke me up.
And then, Oscar, he doesn't want to tell you, but Rob drives a Lamborghini Urus, bro. He just doesn't want to.
Damn. Does he own it too? It's impressive.
Man, I'm trying to get a Trackhawk. The Jeep Trackhawk. Man, that's a nice. I think that'll be the next sports car right now.
Jeremy's next car. His son will be putting plans together. That's a dream. Nope.
Can you guys hear the stream or no? The video?
Now, I've had over 20 years experience from the combined three of
not-
us. So our goal is to kind of just host these webinars, transfer
you
our
can
experience to you guys,
stream.
give you guys kind of insights on the business as well in terms of like certain stats that we're going to include inside of the webinar. So I know you guys are going to really enjoy that. And yeah, super excited to host this webinar.
Is it echoing off the mic? Should I mute the mic?
How's it going, everybody? My name is Kyle, otherwise known as JCap. If you guys don't know me,
What do you guys think? I should turn off the mic, or is it good?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good, or turn off the mic.
You can leave your mic on. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a little muffled.
doing as far as providing education and knowledge to you guys to help you along in your funding journey. So, yeah, this webinar, we're just going to go over a couple of things that, helped us along the way, how we kind of started and scaled up, and, top approaches on how you guys should be tackling some of these challenges and setting yourself up for success.
Yep, and let me just quickly introduce myself because I forgot I didn't. So for those of you who don't know me, I go by Paladin, and I have been trading for over 5 years now. I've withdrawn multiple six figures from prop firms. So I'm truly excited to share what I have on these slides. And I think it is now 10:33. We are 3 minutes in, and I think we should start it now. So let's begin. So first off, I'll start off the webinar, and then we'll go on to Omar, and then JCap, and then we'll do a Q&A session. So let me start it off. Now, over the past years of my trading experience, and also studying the top 6, 7-figure traders who have withdrawn multiple six figures, who have withdrawn millions in profits, I've come to find these two systems that I've created. And these two systems are what I'm going to apply in 2024. So the first system is called the profit rule. The profit rule is a very simple and effective system. And overall, the goal of the profit rule is just to get consistent payouts with the funded accounts. Now, the second concept I'll be covering is called building an empire. So a lot of you guys always ask me, how do I get more capital or how do I get more funding? And with this concept, this is a blueprint on how to get more funding. So the next slide. Now, the next slide, let me cover the profit rule. Now, like I said, this system is very, very, very simple, but effective. So what it basically is that when you finally get your funded account, right, your goal is only 1%. Yeah, you heard that right. Only 1%. I know some of you guys are thinking, oh, why only 1%? That's insignificant or that's nothing.
Yeah,
But as
we get
I'll show you.
we get 100% on trades, bro. You know what I mean?
1% when you have a good enough amount of capital. So once you have 1%, you stop trading that account, you wait for your payout, and then in the meantime,
so this is something good for us, especially like where we can trade our personal portfolios, and once we put some money away on the personal portfolios, we can go and work on our funded accounts.
So that's
Yeah, the volume's off. Is mine?
and how you can still trade is you can buy.
So what is what's 1% of 50K? Is that 5,000 or 500?
Go figure. Buy 100.
I'm not good at percentages, guys.
As you get
Zeros back 50,000. 500 is 1%.
So he's saying go for $500 a day and then just step away after that, right? That's what he's pretty much more.
No. Well, of the amount you need to get to be funded. So if it's $5,000, then you'd only want to make $50. I think that what he's getting at until you get funded, and then you can go for higher profits because you don't want to get the drawdown. You don't want to get the $3,000 loss and then have to lose your. A lot of people take losses and then have losing days that add up and they get $2,000 and they have to start over. That's how they make most of their money, I think. So they figure just make $50 a day, which takes a long time to get your $3,000. But they say that's the way you can beat the drawdown. Or $50 per trade, probably. Maybe that's better. Yeah, stated. Don't aim for more than $50 per trade.
How are you guys listening to them on YouTube, or I cannot hear them?
Yeah, it mutes out a lot, but it's Jeremy or Hector's Oscar's private class that they're sharing on Zoom.
Yeah.
So, hey CP, you said you can't hear it?
No.
Oh man. Okay, let me see what's going on here.
Oh, my breakthrough. And only for me to end up being in profits, and then I got greedy, overconfident, and I lost the entire account. So that is the whole idea of the profit rule. So
Let me see.
the goal with
Yeah, I can hear it now.
to increase your return within capital. Now on the next slide, so we're only what? I think we're in the third.
It went off again.
Yeah.
I do have 700K in funded account. This is just from my Rise account. I also do have a couple $1,000s more on my Coinbase account. So starting off 2024, I'm already up 5 figures for the year, 3 weeks in, profit rule. And my goal is to use the building the system, building the empire concept to end the year with millions in funding. And then say, for example, I end the right? And I'm only aiming for 1% for every withdrawal, right? 1% of 2 million is $20,000 a month. So just by aiming for 1%, which I've been doing with my current funding accounts, if I get that 2 million after as the months go by and I'm just applying the system, eventually I could be making $20,000 to $40,000 a month with just using 1%. So that is the whole idea of the profit rule, building the entire system, and I'm truly excited for 2024. And I hope you guys also apply this rule, because the fact is that this system, it does require patience, it does require thinking long term, and a lot of us, even when I started, we all want to get rich quick, right? But the fact is that in this industry, I always think if you try to get rich quick, you'll just get broke quick. So with that being said, thank you guys for listening, and I hope you guys apply this on your own.
And I think either Jeremy or also, you can probably put in a chat question, anything
So Omar, I think we can take it now.
for him.
All right, perfect. So yeah, I mean, guys, like everything that Paladin was saying, I just want to do a quick brief overview on that. At the end of the day, less percentage is more capital. That really should be the goal for most people, especially even if you're starting out with smaller account sizes. The more money that you make on payouts will always be best that back into the business. Buy more accounts, scale up the account that you have. That way, 1% does make a difference, right? 1% on $1 million is get $10,000. So it's all a percentage game, all of it's really just numbers. So something that, and like Paladin said, it does require things a little bit more. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to give you guys more of an insight when it comes to how difficult evaluation founders really are. And the whole goal of this, right? We have Saturday on a monthly basis to kind of give you guys back to that. So again, our goal ultimately is to make sure that we give you guys a very realistic expectation on the evaluation. That way people can understand how difficult it really is, and just for full transparency, putting out some of the data that we've collected over the last few months back to you guys. So let's start off, how difficult are the evaluations? So on average, the pass rate for both passing phase 1 and phase 2 is just around 10%. So again, think of it from that perspective. Only one person out of every 10 will typically pass the evaluation. Over 75% of clients are failing due to daily flow. And again, this is because people are getting too close to the flirting with that daily drawdown. So again, that's something that people should really take into consideration, that majority are failing because of the daily drawdown. Now, the average payout is just around $2,200. So again, that's from obviously now 5K accounts, 200 days. That is pretty much the end. So these are just basic statistics to kind of show people the reality of these evaluations, how much the typical payout is, what is the pass rate. And again, this pass rate is not even including those. Like Paladin said in the prior slides, about 30% get to the payout once they achieve that funding stage. So that is something to kind of also just take into consideration. So it's something that's very difficult to do. And as we get in, we're going to give you guys a little bit more tips on what are the top traders at SFT doing differently compared to the ones that are not performing. So we kind of compiled, so we have a data analyst on the team, and we compiled a different amount of trade metrics that we think is going to be beneficial to you. So number one, risk reward average for the trades that are above, the average duration of trades, the trades per week, and the average amount of challenges involved for a payout. So these are the 4 key metrics that we're going to go ahead and think about. Okay, so next slide. So the average risk reward. I think this is a very important stat because again, when it comes to risk reward, having a higher risk reward, everyone always tells you to have a higher risk reward. It's typically better for traders, and we want to put that to the test, right? We want to go ahead and make sure that we said, you know what, let's go ahead and all the data and see, is this actually holding true, or is this kind of a cliche? But it came out to be true. So the average risk reward for those that are passing evaluations, it stays consistent. It's around that 1.67 R. Pretty much approaching that 2-to-1 risk reward. Now, what's shocking is that the average risk reward for those that are failing evaluations is
And these guys look like they just woke up and got out of bed and started doing this webinar.
That the higher your risk reward, the better it is for you as a trader because like multiple.
Look at the Jade Cap. He looked like he had a good night last night. And the Paladin looks like he's like in Japan or India or somewhere. And then Omar looks like he didn't.
Paladin's probably he's probably in Dubai. Omar
Dubai,
just
yeah.
had a
Omar
Omar.
He didn't sleep last night.
Oh no, Omar just hosted a webinar before this one in the mentorship.
Add into this. What I see from this data is people might be planning a higher risk reward, but they're possibly just closing their trade before it even gets to that higher risk reward number because they're emotional when it comes to drawdown. So when your trade is going into the negative, people are closing their trades early before it hits the full stop.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it was also, and we will see as a risk statistic in terms of the average duration of trade, why I personally think scalping isn't the most optimal for people. So the average hold duration is about 2.86 hours for those that are passing evaluation. Versus the ones that are typically failing, the average is 1.74 hours.
Damn, I don't think I've ever held a trade for 2.86 hours.
This kind of shows that scalpers are
That's too long, right, bro?
Big money.
Number one, a lot of them are probably taking too many trades and they're a little bit trading.
And the TradeZilla, my average trade is 32 minutes.
And then again, how much high quality trades are there per session in order to come in? Again, this is just kind of the averages. It doesn't mean if you're someone who's profitable or you're holding for less, you know, like if that works for you, then ultimately then that works, right? But it's just to give you guys an insight on the profitable traders and the ones that aren't. And these are just, you guys baseline average. Now, the next metric that we're gonna go ahead and talk about is the trades per week. Again, average amount of trades per week is about 5.57. Just say that part out. 5.57 trades for those that are passing the evaluation, and then the average amount of trades per week for ones that are failing is 9.42 trades per week. So again, the traders that are fairly performing well are taking about one trade a day, versus the ones that are failing is almost double. They're almost taking two trades.
Average amount of trades per week is 5.5.
That are failing the evaluation. Now think of it from this line. When you take so many trades throughout the week, your mental capacity.
Yeah, so first line has hours instead of trades. It's not
These
hours,
guys,
it's
they're
trades.
talking about mental capacity, mental capital, and these guys know what's up, man.
That's a week. That person's gonna have a more mental clarity when it comes to execution. And I think this stat kind of shows that, you know, less is more. It's a cliche, but again, this was true for the traders.
Omar, can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what's interesting about this is a stat I always talk about. But for me personally, I like to look at all these problems and look at the good stats and look at the bad stats. And I like to stay away from the bad stats and be part of the good stats. And another big firm, you have a similar stat, which basically the more trades funded traders take, the less likely they are to get a payout. Their stat was like around 12 to 50% of funded traders take less than, I think it was 10 trades a month, yet they took over 55% of the entire payout. So just 10% of the funded traders take over 55% because they take less trades. So this is a very, very important stat, and I'm glad you shared this.
I think it comes with experience as well, because a lot of people can possibly sit down on a screen and think that they're seeing an A+ setup, and really there's no A+ setup there, right? And then they're forcing something. So understanding what your A+ setup looks like comes with back testing, it comes with forward testing, and it comes with understanding the market conditions, right?
Yeah, I mean, just look at your USD 2 weeks ago, man. That consolidation, like I stayed out of it because I'm like, there's no trades here. So the amateur traders, I bet they were trying to scalp like up now, so they probably got right.
Yeah, and again, just to like my final thoughts on that, it's like you guys said, most people they always look at like the equity in terms of like the monetary amount, but like the reality is there's a mental equity that we have as traders.
Yes, sir. Mental capital.
Right? whether you're in some sort of sport, the more mental anguish that you have, that's where you're most likely going to be able to perform. So again, if you're someone who's taking so many trades, how locked in and focused can you really be for an extended amount of time, right? Like, and I talk about this all the time with Andrew Huberman, who is like a neuroscientist, talks about like the most ideal time window that someone can have like a laser focus is about 90 minutes. So if you're staying there every session and you're just trading and you're clicking buttons throughout, how much mental clarity would you to really have for the person? And I think that ultimately shows, you know, people that are taking more trades are less likely to stop. Now, this is something that I think we wanted to put this in here for transparency, right? Because sometimes people fail in evaluation and they start to feel like I'm a failure, I'm not a good trader, which again is not the case. And I think this stat gives a better perspective on this reality that
Well, it is halfway true because sometimes that is the case. You are a shitty trader, and sometimes it's not.
But the average amount of almost 4 challenges that someone has to typically buy before reaching a payout. Obviously, there's going to be people that do it once. Some people might not fail an evaluation. But again, guys, this goes to show that if you're someone who's coming into this game, and again, just coming into trading in general, not even just stock.
What I've noticed personally from evals is that as soon as you start getting lazy, then that's when shit starts going bad. As long as you stay on point and follow your rules and do those little small moves, unstoppable on those evals.
Like buying
You can do it longer and longer. Just
25K.
focus.
Understanding that, you know what,
Top of your game. Yeah.
attempts to pass this evaluation. Now, again, just to close it off, the goal is to set real expectations on the reality of the evaluation. What we don't want to do is just sell people this pipe dream of like, it's easy to get funded, it's easy to do this, you're a failure if you pass the evaluation. That's not the case.
And I think these guys need a SPX or options trader in their group, bro. They need me right there. I should be right there, right under them. I'm talking about SPX.
Especially if you're net. A very good.
So these three are founders or what? Or they are spokespeople for the company?
One more time, CP, can you repeat that?
Are they founders of the company or
these guys are top guys in the industry, brother. This guy right here in the bottom.
We're not gonna do Q&A yet.
Yeah.
This guy Paladin is beast, bro. And then this guy JCap,
Yeah.
beast. Omar, I don't know too much about him, but I know this guy JCap and Paladin, they're ICT
So
traders.
you guys
And
don't know a little bit about me.
they're beast, bro. I don't even know how their mind works, bro. I've tried to digest them a couple times, and it's just a whole different game with these two guys. But they're very good and very experienced. JCap took 10 years before I think he was profitable.
Yeah.
Now he's a multi-million billionaire owning prop firms. Paladin, 1 year ICT blew up. And then Omar, I don't really know his story, but Oscar knows these guys a little better because they're in the Forex field. Just from the little bit that I know.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, these guys, CP, these guys are legit, bro. You know what I mean? You know, I wouldn't push anything that's not legit or put something else people on, you know what I mean?
No, they look very young, that's why.
They're young. The kid Paladin's the youngest one. I think JCap's the oldest one, but
Yeah.
young, bro. I think he's like 22 years old or something.
Wow.
You know, personal paying for a 200K account, right? Because you're $800 to $1,000, then you probably have to start out a smaller account. It doesn't really matter because all the parameters are the same. You have to think in terms of percentage, R multiple, and what your targets are, right? So if you're risking 1%, most of these firms is going to require you to make 8R, right? Which is not, I would say it's not terribly hard to do, but at the same time, again, if you're nervous about taking these trades, then yes, it can be extremely difficult for you to stick to a plan and be comfortable with the loss. Right, so for me, this 200K account just represented a portion of my biweekly paycheck, right? So I was already making a decent amount in my career. I was able to cover all my expenses and everything before I paid for these challenges, which is a big thing. You don't want to be putting your last dime or dollar into these challenges expecting that you're going to make it to payout, because as Paladin and Omar talked about, right, only 10% even make it to the profit. So how do you avoid blowing up that account, right? in my opinion, is not very difficult if you have the skill set to get to the funded challenge. It's just how do you get to the first payout? Once you get to the first payout, essentially you want to crawl your way to the first payout. You don't want to try and hit the leaderboard because essentially a lot of these leaderboards, they're not giving you anything in return. You hit the leaderboard and then your name is gone the following week, right? So how you're supposed to be tackling them is crawl to the payout. I don't care if you have to make $5, $10, $15, and then get the refund, right? When you get the refund, you are removing your risk from the table. You've taken your expenses, gotten that refund, and now
That's what I call playing on house money, right? I tell you guys take the meat and potatoes out, and now we're playing on house money. So they're talking about the same ideas.
Whether that's rent, groceries, phone bill, things like that, and then invest the rest in new challenges, right? If you don't have the money to invest in new challenges, right, essentially you could take that refund and just reinvest it in a new challenge. But let's say you did get the first refund and now your second payout, you've gotten a decent amount of profit. Well, again, same thing, recycle that. Cover some of your expenses and invest the rest in new challenges. And this is how you're going to scale up. Right. So when it comes to risk management, me and Omar say it all the time, like great wealth is created from large risk on small capital, but it's maintained through small risk on large capital. So as you're adding accounts into your portfolio, into your assets under management, you want to reduce the risk because somebody like me, yes, I have periods where I have large payouts, but if you check my Twitter thread, the majority of payouts that I'm getting are 1-2% bi-weekly, right? So what does that mean? On a large amount of capital, right? If you have $1 million under management, right, and you're doing 10% a year, that it ends up being 6 figures, right? Maybe before profit split, so they may pay you out 80, 85,000, 90,000, depending on the profit split firm. Is that not a great return? That's only requiring you to do 4 hours per month, right? So that's 4% a month.
4 trades.
It's not the fact that you're trying to hit the leaderboard and generate more return because
let's do it.
Very
Let's do it. We got to see MDR on the leaderboard. Should I sign up for skill funded trade?
Right. So
All right.
10%
Yep.
or 20%
Leverage, that'll be good.
right now, you're
Good for the
500,000 to $1 million
credibility.
trading profits in a year. Right. And it's still the same percentage. You're not trying to hit 20%.
I'm gonna get an MDR funded account started.
So we're thinking about, what am I struggling with?
Document the whole account. Watch.
If you can't fund that first account and keep that first funded account, then what makes you think that you can keep 2 funded accounts, right? So that's a skill set that you have to build. I blew a lot of accounts trying to figure that out. First couple FTMO accounts was really difficult for me. But once you kind of understand the game and how to play the game, it makes things a lot easier. Right, so those are my 2 bits. I'm gonna
need Oscar's help. Oh, Oscar's not here no more.
Because a lot of people ask me about this, and in my opinion, it's not
I need Oscar's help.
Right, and this depends on.
Gonna need Oscar's help because he's gonna have to help me get this going. So I can, like I said, I'm gonna get one so we can see our name on the leaderboard.
They don't have time. People are trading out there. They still are trading in a way that they're timeless. Right, I think Omar presented that nice slide on the duration, right? A lot of people are just blowing their accounts based off the daily drawdown, right? So that just means that you guys are really taking too much risk on a day in, day out basis, right? So you have to make sure you're disciplined and following your rules. Let's say if I want to risk 1% in a day, why am I losing 2% a day? Right? Or 3% or even 4% or even 5%? You guys should never be even getting close to those thresholds, right? That's just showing yourself that you lack the discipline to stay within a rule set. So on my phase 1, I'm usually risking 1% per trade. So that means I've given me 10 opportunities or 12 opportunities, depending on the drawdown limits, maybe even 8 opportunities if you have challenges that are only give you an 8% max drawdown. And that's on phase 1, right? And I usually don't change that. If I want to keep the account and not blow it, because I don't want to incur more expenses, I'll scale down as I go down in drawdown. So at 2%, 3%, maybe you want to cut your risk in half or even into a quarter and kind of crawl your way back out. Actually, on my YouTube channel, I did a funded trading series where I brought a funded engineer account from -9% drawdown to to break even to passing, and then I actually withdrew about
Beast.
$60,000 from that type of account.
Oh, Dima, good morning, Dima. Our brother
You don't
Dima's here.
have to
Oh, hi Dima.
Hi, Dima.
at 50K pretty
I'll fill
quickly.
you in.
It's just how long can you endure being in that drawdown period? Right? And in my opinion, the longer it takes for you to get out of that drawdown period, the better. Right? Either you're going to blow the account extremely fast, or you're going to try and claw your way back out. So phase one, obviously 1% per trade, just because the time limitations. I don't want to be too long in the challenges, but again, this is a personal preference, right? Phase two, same thing. Either I'm doing 1% or 0.5%. And again, these are just guidelines. It's not telling you guys what to do, but this is just how I do it. So 1 to 0.5%. Then once you get to the funded stage, either right. So again, when I go back to how I scaled my trading business, I actually was risking more on those first couple accounts, but I made sure I secured the refund. So as long as you secure the refund, there's nothing wrong taking 1% on your funded account, as long as your mental capacity can handle it, right? And the stresses that come with it. But as you build more and more capital, I recommend that most people go for 0.25%. And why is that? Because if you have a 10% drawdown limit, that means you're allowed to lose 40 trades in a row, right? And I'm sure you guys saw the memes with this SFT put up when I blew the account on the trading challenge. You know, that was a challenge. We weren't in there risking a 40%, all right? We were trying to really press the buttons and try and generate a huge percent return. But on my funded accounts, I'm trying to keep them for as long as possible. So for the most part, it's a 0.25%. And essentially it is a 2.5% of the drawdown amount. Right? So if they're giving you a 10% drawdown amount, you're actually risking 2.5% of the working capital, which is, in my opinion, high risk. So a lot of people don't look at it like that, but that's how I look at it, right? And that's how I survive in the game. So with that being said, that's kind of all I have. We want to jump into Q&A real quick. And I don't know if you guys were able to pin some of these questions, but if you guys have questions, just drop them in the chat box and we will address them.
Yeah, I mean, before we start, I just want to say that be sure to check out Steel Funded Traders. We are one of the fastest growing evaluation firms. We're closing in on a huge milestone, almost at 2 million in payouts over the past couple of 6 months. And yeah, guys, the main advantage of trading with Steel Funded Traders is that we have many different challenges. And the main challenge that I like and is considered a really good challenge is that it's called the Steel Challenge. So the Steel Challenge only requires 6% for phase 1 and 6% for phase 2. And we also have another challenge coming actually by the end of this month. And I know you guys will really, really enjoy this challenge. So stay tuned for it.
Yeah, and to add on to that, just one thing to add to what Colin saying, if you guys want any discount code, whether it's 35% off or 5 to 25K count, or we do sometimes 50% off slash codes, we have a current code as well, 24% off. Make sure to join the Discord. Discord has all the promotion. And then make sure to sign up on the dashboard, as we will send out email promotion specifically for our email. So we're gonna put everything in the description. Make sure to join that as well. I'm pretty sure the majority of you guys are already in Discord, but if not, make sure to do so, because everything in terms of discount offers as well as new plans and giveaways are all gonna be in that. That's kind of like where you get to have
What kind of questions are you guys asking? Come on.
Yeah, there's tons of questions in the chat, guys.
By the way, guys, make sure to like the video. We have over 700 people live and only 310 likes. Let's get the likes up.
Smash that like button.
Someone unliked it after I said that. I'm like, wow, these are not sunglasses, guys. These are computer glasses. I have a really big headache. Huge kind of feeling right now. I'm blaming you.
All right, we got a question here, Omar. You want to answer this one?
We're on the screen. I just want humble request SFT. Trying to give us down to a showdown in both challenges. Yeah, I mean, listen, guys. Again, join the Discord, put your suggestions in there. Like, right now, we only have it for the standard, but again, we are looking into like potentially having a third challenge. but as of right now, it's only. Again, guys, any questions in regards to like trading content, just take advantage now. You have myself, Todd, and Kyle here. Again, over 20 years of experience. So if you guys have any questions in regards to trading, evaluation companies, you know, how to use certain tips, feel free to ask.
This would be a good one, I think, is how to scale a 5K account. How much do your guys' 5K account run?
So with the current promo, it's like probably around like $40, $50.
You know what's funny is that the 5K account is actually very so I was in India and I was doing the math, like say for example I have a 5K account and I made 1% on it, right? I think, and then I converted it into Indian rupees and I was just thinking, wow, that 1% can get me so many like rickshaw rides, that 1% can get me a bunch of meals. So the 5K account in some places is a lot. So
that's the thing, is it is a lot, right? So I guess in my opinion, how to scale it would be, again, like we just covered, it's a numbers game, right? So you have to treat it in a proper way where you're going to get the refund on the 5K account, you're going to possibly invest in more 5K accounts, and you're not going to try and take the ball out of it. Like, you're not trying to go for 10% gains. You're not trying to go for, you know, leaderboard status. You're just trying to hit base hits consistently and then capital.
Yeah, I agree. Everything with stake out with them. Because again, the same way that you scale 5 stake count will be the same way that you can scale 200. Because again, the numbers, again, it's a numbers game. We focus on the percentages. You can ultimately just be, again, develop the strategies in terms of technicals, as well as being able to have a proper trade management system. Because if you do have a trade management system and you're able to apply it on a 5K account, realistically, you can apply it across the bigger size account. So the way that you would scale an account, again, you have to have a system in terms of trading system. You have to know, hey, how am I going to manage every single trade? And again, guys, like these types of things, Kyle and myself and Kyle all have to. But we'll talk about that in depth and have a specific webinar and we're going to try to do them bi-weekly. So if you have no suggestions,
For sure, huh? Maybe when it starts getting warmer.
Trade management.
So we got a super chat request. Like the name is Aquila, who's asking, what's our daily routine checklist?
Ooh, my daily routine. MDR, bro. Comes and checks the MDR journal section. That's his daily routine.
I really just wake up kind of like just take care of everything in terms of toiletries, and then yeah, man, I like to go out for like a little bit of a walk, stretch, and very, very simple. When I get to the charts by 8 a.m., I have a very specific system strategy that's kind of revolved around that. So it's like I'll check the daily time frame, I'll get the 4 hours. If everything is in alignment, I'll look for entries on M5 and 15. But it doesn't have to, like, you don't have to wake up and get like an ice bath, do like, you know, a 40-minute workout. Like, personally, it's just, I just want to get a little bit active, you know, maybe stretch a little bit, like 5-10 minute stretch routine, go for a walk, you know, maybe just do a little bit of cardio, have a coffee, and then yeah, just get straight to it.
Love it. I love it. Beast.
we all know Omar's mind. First thing he does is check trading.
Yeah, go ahead. Want to go ahead?
So currently I am London session doesn't start till 3 p.m. and New York starts around 7 p.m. So for me, the first thing I do, so compared to Asia and back in the States, the first thing I'll do is just check trading view, right? I don't care. I'm not drinking water. Check the trading view and seeing the chart, like how's you moving, how's you moving, if they're trading stuff. But not then I'll continue on, drink my water, get ready for the session. But here in Asia, the first thing I do is I don't even look at my phone. I just go out for a walk. The beach is a block away, and I come back, go to Muay Thai, and then right when Muay Thai ends, the training session. So I do routine here in Asia, and for those of you who are in Asia and Europe, you guys are truly blessed to be in this country. Yeah.
Yes, my daily routine honestly starts the night before. So you know, when that daily candle closes, you guys all should be sitting down, analyzing the charts, making sure the daily is even tradable. Because if the daily chart is not tradable, you typically don't have a trade for the next day.
This is a little different than what
Yeah,
we do, guys, so, you know, I mean, we don't look at that, we look at different, we're intraday traders, so, but, good ideas. We'll do a little review after this.
It's a really big
So
thing. That
write
way
down some
you're-
questions of some things you guys want to go through. There's a couple things I want to point out,
grabbing a cup
and
of
then
coffee,
Thanks.
we'll go over it.
just making sure that my checklist is like fully completed, because if I don't have my daily analysis done, then now all of a sudden my whole routine is thrown out of whack. So, you know, sitting down, making sure I did all my analysis tonight, I'm refreshed, my mental edge or my mental capacity is in the right spot, or my mental space is right for me to even take risks in the market. And then essentially, yeah, I'm just looking for setup on the 1 hour, 15 minute, 45 minutes, but it's all in line with that higher time frame, whether that's 4 hours daily. Let's see. Somebody was asking how I overcame the 9% drawdown. That is a really long losing streak. You need to change your edge. So here's the thing: is you shouldn't be changing your edge when you're drawing. Like, you stick with the same consistent edge regardless of what's going on. And that's where I think a lot of people mess up, is when they're going through a period of losing streaks, they're going to either try and find a different system or they're going to try and trade with it. But having a specific strike rate, you have to understand that you're going to incur losses, and that's just part of the game. So understanding what your edge is and continually sticking with the same edge, even if you're in drawdown. So the way I like to look at it is, I don't look at my balances and I don't look at how much drawdown I have. I'm going to come to the market every single day and apply the same edge, regardless if I'm up, regardless if I'm down, right? And that kind of removes a lot of emotion. I'm not perfect at doing it, but that's essentially what I focus on.
Yeah, so let's talk about how do we handle our losing streak. So personally, for me, when I'm in a losing streak, for me, I have a quote which is basically losing attracts losing, right? So for some reason, when I'm losing 2-3 trades in a row, my thought is that the next trade will be a loss. I'm doing just cut down my risk, maybe 0.5%, and then until I gain my confidence back, or until I have that winning trade, and then I'm back in the zone and I go back to my original risk. So that's how I usually manage my losing streak.
Yeah, and I think the reality is like it's a very common thing, and when it comes to going on one, I think there's a little bit of a quote unquote hack that I think helps you work is if you have multiple. But this is for someone who has like multiple funded accounts, who is able to take multiple accounts, right? Like you can just pretty much diversify the risk across the accounts, so that way you don't go into too bad of a drawdown. But the reality is like most people I think get into drawdown because they take a lot of bad trades, take poor setups. And then it sucks because then you have a great trade that actually fit your system, and all this trade in will kind of get you back to break even or less drawdown. So if you kind of input like situations where you don't get too deep in drawdown, where like maybe you spread out the risk across multiple funded accounts or multiple accounts, that could be something that someone could do. That's kind of like thinking outside the box. But overall, you're going to experience some sort of drawdown period. It's just the nature of the market. And I think the sooner someone accepts it, the better mental they'll have during that drawdown period. Because if you start to doubt yourself, you're just going to put yourself in a downward spot.
So this question was directed for Paladin. The proper role, do I need to look for one-to-one?
I mean, it depends. Like if you are, I'm sorry, risking for a trade idea, right? So if you start out risking 0.5%, then on the 2, you're passing in one trade. You want to start out risking 1%, and then maybe when you hit 2 losses in a row, and you kind of make I currently do. So yes, I mean,
I think this is a really good question. In your early days, how do you know when you're about to do something that could possibly destroy your capital? I think, in my opinion, I didn't know in my early days. And
Overshading.
That's what led to me destroying my capital. And it was kind of, I mean, I'm sure many profitable traders and many successful traders go through these periods where they don't know what is going to cause them to destroy their capital. And that is just part of the experience my account, right? Maybe it's, I'm just not in the right mental space. Maybe I'm getting in a fight with, you know, some of my family members or my wife, things like that. You know, and maybe I'm carrying over the loss that I just took into the next trade, which can be very detrimental when you need to get out of the trade, you're carrying that loss with you as like burden. And yeah, essentially, it requires you to go through the motions of taking losses in the market and understanding, you know, how you're going to deal with it emotionally.
Yeah, I mean, also one thing I've noticed and also like experienced in the past is that trying to compete with your friends or trying to get more and more payouts to kind of show off, like that will lead to you destroying your capital because then you start forcing your trades. And also for me, like JCap said, I didn't know in my early days like about like how to prevent myself from destroying my capital. Only through losing my capital, only through losing my funded accounts was I finally able to make a system. So personally for me, I follow my system, which is basically maximum 2 losses in a day. And the whole idea of that is to prevent myself from revenge trading because usually after 2 losses in a day, my mind is done. And even if the next trade idea looks like it's going to be a 99% hit rate, I just stop trading. I don't care. And then the next one was maximum 2 wins in a day. So the thing with me is that when I have 2 wins in a day, right, I feel like I'm God. I feel so overconfident. And then I'll look at the charts, even like that, then I'll see a trade idea and I'll think, oh, this trade idea is so clean. And then I'll end up losing my entire profit of the day. So I have maximum 2 wins in a day. And yeah, that's basically the system I create to prevent myself from destroying my capital in a day.
What about you, Omar? Omar hasn't stopped blowing accounts.
Yeah, I'm still learning, guys. But listen, I mean, I'll tell you guys this, in terms of the beginning, even now, like you have to catch yourself in that moment when you're just trying to take trades just to make back because that is the biggest indicator for myself and like for most people I talk to, especially in the beginning, where it's like, all right, you take a loss, right? And maybe it was a good loss, and then you know what? Maybe you took that second trade that was okay, but like you just realistically you took that second trade because you just want to take back that loss, and then that ends up being. If you start to see that you're starting to compound yourself like compound losses because you're trying to make back that higher loss, and the setup you're taking has nothing to do with your system. That is, in my opinion, when you should like re-empty forwards, close down the computer if you don't have any discipline, because you're on your way to blowing an account. Like that's just the ultimate truth.
Somebody was asking, you know, is it fine to risk 2 to 3% if you want to pass quickly? Like, in my opinion, right? Like, we talk about this all the time. If you're okay with losing the account, then yeah. I think most people, though, because the failure rate is so high that they're not in the position to be able to afford this many accounts, right? Like, when you look at somebody like Pasquale, who possibly spent $200K on challenges, right, but made $2.5 million, he was okay losing the 200K positive up front because he probably had X amount saved up from previous payouts, right? It's all relative to how much you're willing to lose. And I know a lot of people, I would say the majority of people are not in a position to lose the accounts, right? The $900, $1,000, or even less, right? If that 5K account costs you a month's worth of your salary, that's not somewhere where you can possibly take that much risk and be okay losing it. And because now it's going to put you in a mental drawdown.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, 100%.
David, go ahead, Kyle. Go ahead.
You go, man.
And I was gonna I was gonna add to what Kyle was saying because that is spot on 1,000%. You have to be honest with yourself about your thing. There's someone who, first of all, you gotta be profitable to like, be able to risk that. You gotta have number one confidence. You have to have a profitable system. You actually have to have skills. Not only that, you also have to have capital because some people like I'm not gonna act like like sometimes like dude, we speak to a lot of like good traders, right? A lot of our friends do fairly well as well. So it's like a lot of people do take high risk because they just want to pass the evaluation, but they have money from prior accounts. They have bankroll money coming in from other revenues. They're doing well financially, so they can afford to take 3 potential losses of challenges. And if they hit the fourth one, they know, all right, I just need like maybe 2-3%, and I pretty much make all the money back that I lost. And then they view it in that. So if you're someone that works for your psychology, you have a good skill set, have the money, then yeah, you can experiment with that. You know, we're not gonna be over here telling you, oh yeah, be conservative all the time. Because everyone has different pain thresholds and risk.
Yeah, I mean, what I want to say, for example, you already have $1 million in funding, right? A 1% risk on that $1 million funding would be bunch of 200K challenges, right? At that point, one 200K challenge is like insignificant to you, right? Whereas for someone who's working, like for example, a couple years ago, I used to work full time and I had to pay rent, I had to pay for my living expenses, and then at the end of the month, I would only have I think like $500, even though I was making $2,000-3,000 a month left because of all these expenses, right? And if I were to buy a 100K challenge, you're not going to see me risking 2 or 3% because that count is really significant to me. I don't want to be losing that. I don't want to go high risk, high reward. So it's all relative on where you position.
This is our boy Mike Levels that dropped the super chat, I think.
Yeah, the super chat. That's
Who's
cool.
better, Brunson or
I think
Rubin?
we got a last question.
Obviously, I'm a Knicks fan. I'm going Brunson.
Omar, you got a question here. What is this? MMA and boxing?
Might be boxing. I think it's boxing.
I'm Francis.
Omar was muted.
Omar was
Oh yeah, my bad. I was leaving the whole time. But nah, yeah, it's a boxing match coming up. I believe it's in February. But honestly, bro, I think Joshua kind of smoked him. I don't think it's gonna be competitive. I know people are saying like that he did well against Tyson Fury, but you watch that whole fight, like there was a lot of rounds that Francis was a little bit tired in. And the thing is, Tyson Fury doesn't really have power.
Does anybody
He was getting hit a
is
lot.
anybody familiar with the Robbins Cup? They do it every year where you fund 50K account and it's like a competition. And,
Alan or Miami. Yeah, super chat, $10 super chat is going to take Alan to dinner tonight, Alan. Maybe not in Miami.
That's funny. So talking about Miami. So to be honest, being in Asia now, I feel like America is kind of overrated because here in Asia, I get to see both London and New York. And the main thing is I get to get 7 hours of sleep back in the States, right? Say, for example, right before I'm about to sleep, like 10 p.m. Eastern time, or 1 p.m. Eastern. And I look in the charts and I'm thinking, oh my God, learning session could be actually 15 turtle soup liquidity grab into this level that I'm looking at. And then I might just end up putting my alarm for 3-4 a.m. done in session, and then I lose sleep, right? Whereas here in Asia, I sleep 7 hours and then I get to trade both London and New York. So personally for me, I like Thailand. And I'm blessed. I don't have to really stay in one spot because I don't have a family. I don't have any So I'll be back in Miami next month for the SFT event that we're having. And also I will be in Singapore next week. So if there's any SFT funded traders, message me on Instagram, and I'll love to meet you guys. Even in Thailand, if you guys are in Phuket, do message me on Instagram. And yeah, I think this will be our last question. I have to sleep at 11:30 p.m. Talking about sleep.
Let's go back to the one that I had shown earlier. What's some key things to stop bad habits when reviewing your trades? Eliminate the bad trades. I guess for me, honestly, it just comes down to self-discipline. Because if you already recognize what's causing you to take bad trades, it's then about how do you tackle that, right? So if I say, I enter this market too early. Well, the next trade, if I break the same rule again, then really it's just a discipline thing. So, working on discipline, in my opinion, is a huge thing. When you say you're going to do something, just do it, right?
Yeah, discipline and patience. Because sometimes price will be coming to my entry, right? And then I'm just thinking, oh my God, I want to enter now. What if it never comes to my entry? And sometimes it just goes away, but sometimes it'll hit my entry. So just being patient and trying to accept the fact that you won't be able to trade every day. There's not a great A+ setup, sometimes even every week. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna add on to a concept towards that end where it's like just accept. You kind of have to accept, and I talk about this all the time. You have to accept the pros and cons to your system. Someone who might be like a real intraday trader who's just trying to take advantage of intersession volatility, they might have the con that, you know what, I'm going to miss out on like the big 50, 60 move because I'm looking for that 20 on a consistent basis. So I think it's just having acceptance of your trading system, especially the cons of your trading system. Every system, no matter what type of style you adopt, is going to have some sort of con. So just being able to accept that, in my opinion, is like real important, because it just allows you to have proper expectations, and it doesn't hurt as much when, you know, let's just say you have a trade set up that, you know, you're taking 20 pips on, you see a run 60 pips, but you know deep down, okay, this is my system, and during consolidation, this is going to actually save me as well.
Nice. So I think you guys wanted to run a giveaway, right, for chat?
Yeah, no, so yeah, guys, make sure to join the Discord. We are gonna, I already have a few, so we didn't set an exact amount of how many we're gonna give away, but I selected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, might even make it 8. So again, appreciate everyone who popped on. Make sure to go ahead, subscribe to the channel, also like the video as well, and make sure to share it. If you guys thought this was like a good video and you want us to do more, tag us on Twitter, let us know in the Discord. Let us know what topics you guys want, because we're gonna try to do this every 2 to 3 weeks or so, and do it live on YouTube. We were gonna do it on Zoom, but you know, there's like a limited capacity. So yeah, I appreciate all of you guys. And we do have a 24% off, 10% drawdown. The code is SFT email 24. It is inside of the Discord. So again, if you want to keep up to date for the flash promos that we have, make sure to join the Discord. Everything is in there, and all of our social media. Make sure to follow Kyle, Paladin, myself on all social platforms. And yeah, guys, thanks for hopping on a Saturday. I know Saturday is like everyone's time to kind of kick back and relax. So appreciate you guys all being on board as well.
Yeah, guys, so thank you guys for hopping on, and once you guys learn from and hopping on the webinar, you guys are able to improve your skills, and then once you guys do have the skills, be sure to get funded with Skill Funding Trader.
All right, guys, have a great weekend.
All right, let's go ahead and turn this off. All right. So that was, I guess it was pretty decent. They pointed out a lot of things that we follow through our type of trading as well. Is there anything anybody wanted to add that they got out of it? Any golden nuggets or anything that we should talk about or shed some light on? No? You're muted, Rob.
Oh, sorry. Oh yeah. Just on those really small profit targets for the trades.
Yeah.
It's something
Those are the atomic habits I keep telling you guys about, like forming these good habits, small habits, and
what they give us. Don't be greedy, right? But even on the funded ones, even less. So I guess there's some kind of a restrictions once you're funded, and so you that caution there, or maybe he just wants to get the.
But it's that's good though. It just builds good habits. Continue to build good habits. That's pretty much you know.
Yep, reinforces, like you said, them taking trades off. Don't be greedy. Yep, the meat and potatoes is.
Yes, and just understanding the whole concept of our setup, and understanding when we take profits, and you know, runners, and minimizing risk and all that good stuff, man. That's what
yeah, consistency, like you say.
Yeah, consistency, yes sir. They everything, anytime you're like experienced trader or a trader that they know what they're talking about, they're gonna be talking about the same things. Very similar things. Very similar. But we had a beast move yesterday. Look at that, man. Look at that.
Yeah, it's all over the news all the time.
So is there anything else that you guys wanted to touch on, or is that's about it? That's about it, huh?
Yeah, let you enjoy your weekend.
Getting together for a Sunday session to go over our setup, just to review, maybe like 30-45 minutes. I'll
great.
Yeah, we'll just basically go over you know, our setup that we always talk about. We're just gonna do a review. We're gonna review what we wait for, and what we do and how we do it. And during that time, I recommend to have some questions ready, so we can do a Q&A. And I'm thinking maybe after dinner Sunday. I'll put a timeout shortly here and after. I'll put a timeout by the end of the night. But if there's nothing, nobody else wants to touch on, then you know.
We don't have ability to share screen yet, brother.
So one more time.
We cannot share screen. So yesterday when you left, once your power went out,
I'm trying to figure that out. I don't know how to do that. Can you help me research it on YouTube? And it's like,
okay, I'll look at it.
yeah, try to.
Yeah, Rob had to go in the Zoom and then he shared it.
Yeah.
Well, study room Discord, but
Discord. Sorry.
yeah, it's not as good. The Zoom is much better.
Yeah, Zoom is much better. That way, if you can share it, then everybody else can watch it.
Yeah, let's try to figure it out. Try to help me
Okay.
out with some tips
Yeah.
and tricks with the Zoom.
I'll look into it.
You know, we'll figure it out this weekend, and hopefully by Monday we can get it going. We'll meet up again, like I said, on Sunday night. And
Okay.
we'll go over our rules, our setup, make sure that we go over our discipline and our patience. But that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and sign out, and I'll catch you guys on Sunday night.
All right, thanks so much, Jeremy. Thanks. Good to see
Thank you.
everybody.
Good day. Enjoy the weekend,
Everyone
all
have
of
their
you.
mic on. You guys enjoy your guys' weekend too. I'll see you Sunday if you guys are gonna come join me.
Bye.